So I'm making a video here to explain how the um, supply curves or supply schedules and supply schedules and demand schedules work. So if you pull up a spreadsheet here, you should have a spreadsheet, and if you have a product and say your product is, you know, uh, Pringles. Okay, what you need to do first is you are going to have the price points, and these price points are going to be the same ones that you used on your survey. Okay, so if you used 50 cents as your first price point, and then you went up to 75 cents, and then you went up to a dollar, and let's just go up to a dollar and a quarter, and $1.50. Okay, so you had these price points and you surveyed everybody for the uh, demand schedule to find out what they wanted. Now, before you did all this, you should have created what we call a supply schedule. If you didn't do that, you can do that now. It's not a big deal. And we're going to put the supply schedule right here. Okay, and then we'll just center that up so it looks nice. Now, as a supplier, at each price point, you want to sell more as the price increases. So at this low price, like 50 cents, you don't want to sell very many at all. Let's just say two. At 75 cents, you want to sell a couple more. Let's go with six. At a dollar, okay, we're making some real money now. So let's go with 15. Dollar and a quarter bumps up to about 25, and then $1.50 will go up to 30. I didn't find these numbers anywhere in particular. I just kind of went with something. So it's not like these numbers, I just pulled these numbers out of thin air. They don't actually really belong anywhere. It's not like I had to do any calculations to find them. Now, we have our supply schedule done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make a demand schedule. The demand schedule uses the same prices that we saw here. But what you're going to do is you're going to take the results from your Google form. So you're going to pull up your Google form. As we pull this up here. Okay, and you're going to pull up your form. I'm just going to pull up a random one here and pretend this is good. And you're going to find at each price point how much people were willing to buy. So what we found here at the first price point, I know this says Cocoa Puffs, but we'll just go ahead and change this to Cocoa Puffs. And we'll do this at 50. I believe this was 57, $75. We'll just go ahead and pretend that these are 50, 75, $1, $1 and a quarter. Do it that way. So at the 50 cents, 11 people wanted to buy Cocoa Puffs. So you would say 11 there. At 75 cents, which was the next price point, it's 6. At the next price point, it was also 6. At the second highest price point, it was only 3. And then no one was willing to pay for Cocoa Puffs at the highest price point. Okay, you see I found these results right here and there. Now, have my supply schedule, have my demand schedule. I'm going to plot the two on a graph. So what you're actually going to do is you're going to draw these out. I don't have a good way to draw these, but we're going to try to put them in a chart, and I'll show you how this would look. Okay, on the x-axis, we want this data. Okay, and it'll look something like this. I don't know what that yellow line is. Kind of ignore the yellow line there. We'll just pretend it doesn't exist. And And you're going to find the following things. You're going to find your equilibrium point. You're going to find your cost to buy, the profit, the amount you would sell, and then the profit per week. Now, the equilibrium is just going to be this point right here. And what you notice is it's where your supply schedule and your demand schedule cross. So our equilibrium point right here is exactly $1. That is our equilibrium point is $1 here on this graph. So we're going to put an equilibrium point of $1. Now your cost to buy, you calculated this earlier, it should be your second highest cost. We already talked about this. So in this case, that's going to be 75 cents. So 75 cents is the cost to buy. So if you sell it at the equilibrium point and you paid 75 cents for it, you would make a quarter profit on every one you sell. Does that make sense so far? Hopefully it does. The amount you would sell is if you take this spot right here and go straight over. And what we see is it's a little bit above halfway between 0 and 10. So it looks like it's about 6. So you would sell about 6 at the price point of $1. Okay. Now, if we assume that that 6 is how many we would sell per week, the profit per week would be the 6, the amount you would sell, times 25 cents, which gives us a profit of 0.25 times 6, which gives us $1.50. So we would be making $1.50 per week. And there you go. This right here, and we'll actually delete this chart now that we're done using it. This right here, the supply schedule, the demand schedule, and this data right here are the 3 things that you need to have on your PowerPoint for each product.